Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your man, Dame DNYDC, host of the Two Mics Up podcast, and a familiar face back again, my sister, featured co-host Melissa Mallory. Melissa, go ahead, man. Introduce yourself again, because I know it's been a minute since everybody's seen you last. So go ahead, holler at them real quick.
Hey, good folks. I'm Melissa Mallory, founder, CEO of Be Unlimited, a nonprofit youth organization here in Prince George's County. I'm also a mom of two amazing, beautiful children and a wife for life to an amazing man.
I like that. Wife for life. I'm gonna have to push that one on my wife. She was big me up, start bigging me up. Like, come on, bro.
Listen,
I
wife
love
for
that.
life. I ain't going
Hey.
nowhere. You stuck with me, boo.
I love that. I love that energy. And today I really love the energy because we're really talking about, and you and I had talked about this prior and in preparation for the show, because the gentleman that we're bringing, to our audience today has a skill set that really resonates really with both you and I, our upbringing, our backgrounds, and I don't know. I say it lovingly, I think because we come from a Caribbean background,
Yeah.
these are kind of things that you've seen more in your family, and it seems to be a lost art here in America. So when I came across this gentleman, I was like, yo, I think I met him, got his information in the group. And I'm like, yo, like, this is really dope because I don't know of many that are still doing this type of craftsmanship, because this is really a craftsman. This is expertise work. And everybody, I know you're probably like, dang, what the heck is you talking about, bro? So I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna make room and we're gonna bring today's guest. Yep. Good afternoon, Q. Sir, how are you? Yeah, exactly. Give this man a round of applause because y'all ain't ready for what's going on. Q, how you doing today, sir?
I'm blessed, brother. I'm
Hey,
good. And you?
man, we blessed here. We're really excited, and I tried to spill a little bit about it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the keys to the car, and I'm going to ask you to please go ahead and take a few minutes, introduce yourself to our audience, and give us a little background about yourself.
All righty. First, I'm glad to be here. Glad for the opportunity to talk about something that I love and something that I've been doing for just about 45 years of my life now.
Wow,
Wow.
40, wow,
So I wouldn't still be doing it if I didn't have a love for it.
wow. I mean, this right here, I'm just going to ask, you know, really give us, because you said 45 years, man. I want to go back though. Like, who is Quentin Spencer? And give us like, let's get into it, man. Because you gave us a tease, brother, but 45 years of passion. Let's talk
Yes,
about it.
yes, sir. Well, I'm 61. Just recently relocated to the DMV area
Okay.
3 years ago, about right before the pandemic. I closed my shop in Cleveland
Wow.
and relocated here because I still had a desire to do bench work,
Okay.
which is different from you have three different things kind of going on right now. You have made to measure, where
Okay.
you have a lot of people jumping into that field where they get swatch books, and if they're good salesmen, they can go and they can show people some swatches and take some measurements, send it overseas, and it come back in 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Okay.
Then you have custom, which is a little step up. Made to measure is what you get at Saks,
Okay.
Nordstrom's. That you will never hear them. Men's well, they will never say custom because it's not custom.
Mm.
But to do true custom is what we call bench work, where
Okay.
we actually take a set of measurements, draft the pattern up. We cut it out of a dummy pattern fabric first, try it on the client before we even cut it out of the actual fabric. That's
Mm.
actual bench work. And so I had a desire to continue to do that. And I got persuaded to
Okay.
come down and work for a good company that had been in business since 1969, whose father started the business, whose father was a Greaves and Hawkes tailor in London, Savile Row. So I
Okay.
loved the history, so I was happy doing that. Um, and then Corbett came in, but I had already just opened up a little office just to make clothes for some of my clients still in Cleveland, and
Mm.
just keep my skills sharp
I
while I
know
was
that's
working
it.
there. And also, I'm blessed to have 5 beautiful grandbabies, sons,
Wow.
sons,
Wow.
and the oldest one has already commissioned the suit. And so,
What?
I
yeah,
love
so
it.
yeah, he
What?
just turned 12. So I'm gonna retire and making dress, keeping them dressed.
Okay.
If they behave, they're gonna behave though. So
Wow.
that's it. I've in Cleveland. I'm divorced, and I uh, had a number of tailor shops in Cleveland, a few, and also my ex and I also owned a few dry cleaners in Cleveland.
Wow.
Now you said you've been doing this for 45 years.
Mhm.
That's a very long time. So tell us, what was the driving force behind you wanting to become a tailor?
Mother. My mother was a gifted tailor. We would watch me and my five siblings would watch her sit in the dining room. That's where the sewing machine was, and watch her make clothes for us.
Wow.
Watch her make robes for the church, draperies for the church. We stayed well dressed. And one
Mhm.
day I was sitting there watching the Mike Douglas show, and my I was a fan of uh, Billy D. Williams, and he was on this
Okay.
afternoon, and he had on a double-breasted striped suit, and he was talking about his tailor,
Huh.
and the double-breasted vest he had on there just caught my attention. And he said that his tailor died 10 years ago, but left him with a wardrobe that'll take him for the next 30. And I
Wow.
never
Wow.
forgot that. That's why I understood more about wardrobes at that time. And I looked over to my mom and I said, "Ma, make me that vest." And she said, "No, it's time for you to learn on your own." So she
Wow.
showed me how to get the fabric, how to cut the pattern, and I was off and running from there. The catch was once I finished that vest and wore it to school, the attention that this introverted kid got, especially from the females,
I bet.
I was sold.
He was Billy D. He was Billy D for real.
I thought,
Well, I
yeah,
don't
that
know if you said it, but how old were you then?
14.
wow.
14.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
made my first piece, and then took it up in high school. I went to Progressive School of Fashion afterwards, a couple of years after that, because I wanted to learn the traditional method of making a men's suit. That's going back to
Mhm.
that bench tailor. So I went to studied up on a great tailor. We called him Mr. Z, Mr. Frank Zawalski.
Mhm.
Very fortunate that he took over that class at the time that I signed up,
Wow.
because he gave us so much more lessons outside of just the tailoring, but how to carry yourself. You know, told
Mm.
us that the tailor should be at least the best dressed person in the room, if not
Facts.
the next, because we're promoting well dressed. We're promoting
Mm.
our image,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so that's the way it's like right now. See, I always present. So I think it's offensive for a tailor to take an appointment and not be suited up or dressed well.
Mm. That man, look, this is where, like I said, I really believe, and Melissa and I talked about it, with my wife and I also talked about this. I don't know if it's a change or shift, but I can remember being young and just to get on a plane
Mhm.
or to fly or to travel, take the train, go to church, whatever. You were suited down. You had your best impression on, and like now, I don't know. I don't want to say it's the culture, or our society, our values
Ah,
have dropped to
Yes.
to to an all-time low, and that's why I was really excited, like to have you on, because this is something that early on when I started the show, that was one of my mantras, where I was like, men, especially men of color, we
Hmm.
need to figure out a way to get back in tune with giving our best impression,
yeah.
Yes.
because we're already thought of in one way. So to change the
Yes.
narrative,
Hmm.
you have to address. Because I remember, look, I had aunts, uncles, family members didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. But when they walked out the door,
Stay sharp.
whoo,
Yeah.
stay sharp.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, we got to get back
Damon,
to yes.
that I would say that comes from also upraising, right? Like
Oh, without
how
question,
you teach and what the
without
parents
question.
teach their kids. Because I'm young, but my mom always taught me, listen, that you walk out this house looking like you're a hot
Hmm.
mess. And that's
Okay,
what I teach my kids. They 7 and 8, but
okay,
you better make sure your socks are clean, there ain't no holes in your drawers, your
That's
hair better
right.
be
right.
brushed.
That's
Because
right.
like
Okay,
you said, we already judged, right?
yeah,
Yes.
yep,
African Americans already
yep.
judged. So again, that's upbringing. And my
It is.
child, my daughter is 8 years old, and bless her heart, if she sees someone walk out the house, we in public, and somebody got a hair bonnet on, mommy, she not supposed to have
Right.
it on her head. That's
You got to train them up early. So
Yeah.
I was born in Philadelphia, South Philly. Uh,
Right.
and my dad worked at the naval yard painting 55-gallon drums. But
Oh
my
wow.
dad left the house every day in a suit, came back in a suit, and
Mm.
changed when he got there.
See?
Because it was a sense of pride.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and image is important. It's not fair. Image is not fair the
it's
way
not.
Yeah.
people will judge you, but it's important, and
Right.
it makes a difference. And I tell people all the time that a court date shouldn't be the first time a young man puts on a suit or a
Agreed.
shirt with
Man,
a collar.
Yeah.
Just a simple shirt with a collar showing up. My brother's a Cleveland detective. Well, he's retired now, but we used to talk about that often. In the Monday morning in the court, all they have is club clothes, and
Yeah.
it will make a
Mm.
difference in the judge's eyes to
yeah,
put on the shirt with a collar, not just a long white T-shirt, because you know what the long white T-shirts are associated with.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
all they have is Nikes, white shirt, T-shirt, and jeans.
Mm.
And
Man, preach it. Preach it.
yeah, and so it plays a role in how we're looked upon.
Mhm. I agree. Sis, you got a question?
I do. So, Mr. Quentin, tell us about some of your early achievements as you work to master your craft as a tailor.
Well, it was difficult at first. Upon graduating tailoring school, I had a friend that became my business partner. It was difficult getting hired.
Wow.
Wasn't a lot of us that looked like me out there or own tailor shops or clothing stores. So it was this one store in Cleveland that was very popular, Harry Weinrod. People that see this in Cleveland will know. And I tried to get hired there. I went there, and they told me I had to be in the tailors union in order to get hired. And we didn't have no Google at that time, so I'm searching the yellow pages and asking different people. And finally, someone told me there's no such thing as no tailors union in
Wow.
Cleveland, Ohio. So what me and my friend did, we all, the customers we had was ourselves. So we made suits for ourselves. So we were sharp, and we stood on the side. We got some business cards and a briefcase, put on our custom made suits, and stood on the side of their door. And
I
when
love
people
it.
came up
Wow.
there, approached us, the people that looked like us was going into the store with clothes in their hand. We know they was going in to get alterations. We convinced them to give us a shot. We eventually
Wow.
opened up a little shop on 105 and Superior in Cleveland, Ohio, and that's where we started at. And a few years after that, we bought a dry cleaners, and dry cleaners didn't work out. It didn't work. It was a turnkey operation, but we learned that it takes just as much skill to be a dry cleaner and a spotter and a
Mm.
presser as it is to be a tailor. So
Wow.
it went down, but we moved on, and I got hired at the Tom James Custom Clothing Company, and I became their head tailor. There was a little time in between there, but it was one of the great achievements for me as a tailor to be the head tailor for anybody,
Okay.
especially for this great company.
Okay.
And that was that. And then we, outside of my marriage and my 3 wonderful children, getting those type of positions as a tailor was some of the highlights to me. And
Without question.
yeah, I tried to get hired at Brooks Brothers. Matter of fact, right out of high school, not out of high school, out of tailoring school, my instructor got me an interview at Brooks Brothers.
Okay.
Wow.
How'd that happen? What went down with that?
I went there, and they give you a test, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
he wanted me the alto vest. He gave me the instructions he wanted me to do, and most times it's more than one way to do an alterations, right?
Right.
So I did it the way that I had just learned how to do it. And this redheaded Irish guy, I never forget this redhead, short, he cussed me out because if you can't do it my way, get the F out of my store.
Oh, wow.
You need to go back.
Wow.
Okay. I
What?
went back to my instructor, and he laughed. He said, "Yeah, when you go there, you have to do it exact. If you don't know how they do it there, ask them because
Oh,
there's a lot
wow.
of ego involved in tailors, and we have to be to take a piece of fabric and throw it up in the air, and it comes down, and it's you." You
Right.
see, people think it's magical. And so fast forward, I had my office in downtown Cleveland, and a friend of mine, another tailor, told me that Brooks Brothers want my information. So I submitted it. Wasn't doing a whole lot of work there in Cleveland at the time. And so they made me an offer. I couldn't refuse. I was
Okay.
there part-time. So I went there. But the thing about that is I replaced the guy that cussed me out
Wow.
3 years prior.
Karma.
Love karma.
Karma
take his
is
Yeah.
place, to take his place. Not to be honest. No, he was retiring,
okay.
but
Still,
still to be
still,
qualified to step into those shoes. You
Yeah.
yes.
see, it's certain positions that you get. Even when I came to DC, they don't sit you down and do any work. What they do is you have your thimble with you all times. And they give you a small piece of fabric and some gimp and some buttonhole silk, and they want you to make a buttonhole. You can't make a handmade buttonhole. There's no use of you even sitting at that machine.
Oh wow,
That's the level. That's the highest level.
wow,
Wow.
man. Look, okay, this right here, y'all. This took a whole nother level because this got me. First, I was sitting here because I'm
Up.
confused. I'm like, what? Because I'm listening, and these are some really sound like some high level. Uh, like what did you call? See, we call them craftsmen. I was calling it
Mhm,
craftsmen. I'm wrong.
mhm,
This is benchmark work
mhm.
that you're talking about. So, can you just could share with us some of these, tools and things that you use maybe in your everyday, let's say whether because you do both men and women, correct?
We do men and women.
Okay. Okay.
Mostly
So,
we stay with more business attire, casual wear. I don't do wedding dresses, um, or prom gowns or anything like that. But men and women's business attire. That's what I specialize in.
okay. So, can I ask then, like, what are some of the like some of the tools and equipment? Because I hear you say, thimble and different things like that. But what are some of the tools or the trade, that you really rely on to be able to, successfully complete, a custom order?
My ears.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
listening to the client, listening to their vision, and so I can understand what their needs and satirical desires are, and that way it helps me manifest that
mm,
and bring that vision into to reality. So
mm,
so first start with ears, but of course there's many. My straight stitch machine, um, my pattern making tools,
mm.
paper. See, my mom
Wow.
when she was making clothes, she was using brown paper bags. Y'all remember? You know,
Yeah.
I
brown
remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
she would get the brown paper bags from the grocery store and open them up and lay them out and
Hmm.
draw whatever she said. Like I told you, she's gifted. When
Right.
we do a men's custom suit, it's different from what you see on Project Runway, where that's a draping method where they putting it on the mannequin and pinning
Hmm.
it, cutting like that. We start off with a formula. So we have
Okay.
a P-square, curve stick, and we have a formula. So we take your measurements and we break that up into fourths because it's four sides to the jacket. And so we had to manufacture that pattern. Then there's some shaping and designing going on. But
Mm,
according to those measurements and this formula, we come up with that pattern. And now, and the first time clients, we have to make adjustments. That's why we do a mock suit first
mm-hmm.
before they get into the actual suit to do any corrections. My instructor, Mr. Z, used to tell us that when he was studying to be a tailor, it was 10 years before they allowed him to hang a sleeve, to put the
Oh
sleeve.
Wow.
wow.
And that's how, you have to have that type of skill
Wow.
level in order to get. So even with the guys that rejected me when I wanted to get hired by them, I understand now more
Mm.
then that I didn't have the experience, even though that I thought I did. I've been sewing since I was 14, and I got
Right.
this degree in men's custom suit making. And my early 20-year-old attitude was I'm going out to conquer the world. I think I
Right.
hit cards on that. Well, I specialize in hard that fits and all that. I wasn't qualified to do none of that at
Right.
that time. But I learned, and I went to different tailors. And when I did get hired, lesson my mom taught me was when you go somewhere, keep your mouth shut, because if you
Mm.
talk too much, you think you know everything, they won't tell you what you need to know. So I got
Mm.
cussed out and by a lot of short foreign men. I was always the tallest in the room, most of the time the
Ah,
darkest in there, and sometimes I did want to just pound them into the ground like this here. I wanted to know what they knew.
Mm.
You see, and like I said, it's a lot of ego when it comes from one tailor to another. It was always competing, who's the best and who's this, but
Mm.
there's always someone there because some of them used to hide their work from me. I walked by,
Mm.
they hide their work, and
Ah.
it was always one. As I was working this one shop, and this guy came in. He seen what they were doing. He stood in the middle of the floor. I never forget. And he was a tall gentleman, Caucasian gentleman with a big silver mane on his head. He said, "Let me tell you something. All you guys in here, he was looking at me, but he was talking about them. He said, "I'm the best in here." He said, "Young man, if you need to know anything, you come to me because they don't know SHIT." And
Okay. Facts on that. Okay.
make them hate me. But
Right.
I needed someone to uh, give those little tricks that
Yeah.
you learn. It's little things that and come to tailoring. You can learn all the basics, and that's why my instructor told me, said, "I've taken you as far as I can take you. Now you're gonna have to go and sit up at the feet of some other tailors." And getting to that point was difficult. I ain't gonna say it was all about color, anything like that. It was more about skill.
Yeah.
And it was hard on me because they wanted me to get it.
Wow.
You see, so it took a little cussing sometimes. They was upset with me and do it again.
Right.
Do it again.
Right.
But I appreciate that now because it got me to this level where I'm at here.
Awesome.
Did it make you doubt your what you've learned since you were 14 years old?
Sure. I learned a certain method. And but I knew that it was something more to it. And when I started reading certain magazines and GQ and stuff like that, they kept on talking about Savile Row, kept talking about these suit makers that have been in London since the 16th century. And you ever seen the movie The Kingsman?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's all about. That's what
Oh, okay.
James Bond suits, why he can get knocked out on the train and wake up and stand up.
Shake it off.
The suit looked like he just got out the dry
There
cleaner.
you go.
Because it was custom, and it's what we put in those suits, the hymo and the lapels. It forms the foundation of
I
the
like
suit.
that.
And so nowadays, in order to sell cheaper and mass produce, all of that's fused. So we still hand stitch that in there. We use actual horsehair, and so the more you wear the suit, the more that suit shapes to your body. It actually gets better. And at the collars, we put that hymo in there, and we took hand stitches. Think about 300 or 400 hand stitches on each lapel inside before we put the fabrics together. And that lapel will always roll that way.
Wow.
You can't even take it. You can't even take a real custom suit to a dry cleaner and let them bad press it because that lapel gonna always want to go that way. That lapel gonna always want the tailor in the old used to say the collar should fit you like it's nailed to your neck. You see that's with the jacket, the gap in the back, and all of that. It wasn't either made right or it's just an inferior product.
Man, look here, y'all. We're getting educated today on bench work and true skill craftsmanship by Q the Tailor, man. This gentleman right here is really bringing it. And if y'all missed any of this part of this first half of the conversation, just hit pause, go back to the beginning, because we're really getting educated. And before we actually go on the break, though, I do want to ask because I hear your passion.
Yeah.
And that I love that energy and passion. But I want to ask, with that passion though, what do you see or feel that your mission is as a master craftsman, as a master benchmark person in your field? What do you see your mission continuing to be as you continue in your career?
Well, actually, to teach. I wanted to early on in my career. I decided that at the end of it, that I want to teach. I want to be more open than some of the tailors was to me coming up. I want to be whatever question you have. I will share. I share my machine. I share my materials. I share whatever I have. And I've been blessed to connect with some gentlemen. I can't talk a whole lot about it right now, where I will be opening up that academy in Baltimore.
Okay.
By the end of the year, comment. Yeah. And it's something I've been wanting to do.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't get together. You have kids and house and mortgages and all that stuff, and didn't have the time to do it. But now that's coming to a reality, and I'm happy about it. And and just information, just to be able to share information. So when people come to my office and I have conversations with them, I do a lot of wardrobe consultation now, and I get to share with them because people are buying custom suits and made-to-measure suits all over, and oftentimes they know something is not right. So when they start Googling me, they're looking for something that can correct some of the problems they had. They've got at another shop. I never put another shop down. I might talk about certain brands like Men's Warehouse and where they're putting the glue at, and how they're able to offer buy one get 10 free.
Right.
Where they're taking the shortcuts at, because it's going to affect the way that suit carry on. So right now, these days, you have disposable clothing, and that's all right as long as you know what you're buying. At that price, you're not going to have that suit 5, 6, 10 years from now. Once that glue starts hardening up and it starts
Mm.
getting the shape and everything like that, and you in there fussing and cussing your dry cleaner out, and he didn't do anything. It just never was made correctly.
Mm.
So before we go on commercial, I do want
Yeah.
to ask a question. I know you say your mission is to teach. Have you taught any of your children or grandchildren?
Um,
Great
they
question.
haven't been interested, but see, the thing is they were just happy to have a custom tailor right in the
Of course.
at any time before they head off to school. Dad, can you do this? Dad, can you do that? I've made skirts in an hour. When we was involved in the church, and my ex-wife skirt wasn't with her dry cleaning order or whatever, and she was doing something that day. She needed a black skirt. I had fabric, just waist length. Put a waistband on it, put a zip in the back, press it out. Here you go. You see,
Wow.
You make it sound so simple, but I
Right.
know what this is.
Right. 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 He's talking like yo, we go making a sandwich or something. Like,
Right.
Well, it's the steps. It's the
Right.
steps. And even when people do come and ask for information about tailoring and stuff like that, or when at times when I had to hire someone, the issue was always because I can teach technique, but I can't teach you to have a sense of quality.
Wow.
And that was always the issue. I mean, it's not right. You shouldn't even have brought it to me to ask me. That's the same way my instructor. And I didn't do that because I watched another guy constantly do bad. And I'm talking about in school, constantly do stuff the wrong way and run up to Mr. Z to show him, and Mr. Z just look at him until he come to his own conclusion. If you think that you have to ask me, then it's not right.
It's not right.
Do it right the first time. Save yourself some time.
Y'all heard it here, y'all. Do it right the first time. Make that your motto. And look, while we are here, I want to take a quick pause for the cause at this point, and I want to take a moment to thank two Mic Up sponsors for their continued support of the show, allowing us to come to you each and every week here, whether it be on our show side or our live side. Without them, we couldn't continue to bring you the great conversations and the great guests that we have. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break. Hey, what's happening, everybody? And we're back. We're joined today by Quentin Spencer Q, the tailor, bespoke clothiers there. And I want to make sure you're in Silver Spring, if I'm correct. Just want to make sure. All right. So look, y'all that are just jumping in here today, if you're watching this on YouTube, go back to the beginning. If you're streaming this today, I hope you enjoyed the first part of our conversation. And we're going to continue on. And you had talked about earlier about some of the processes uh, for men and women. But I would like to, because sometimes, like you said, I think people think that this is magic, right?
Mhm.
But the process, I want to get a little more detail in the process. So let's say if myself or Melissa were to come, we reach out and we schedule an appointment. Like, can you kind of walk us and our listeners through like what a process would look like, maybe from start to finish, in a short form, if you can?
Sure, sure. When someone contact me and want to commission a custom piece, I prep them by sending them a form. That way they can give me some information about. It's important to know whether they had some custom work done before. What was their experience like? And I can also send them some looks. I have a program where I can put some fabrics on some mannequins and kind of like narrow it down what they're looking for to kind of make things a little bit more concise when they come in. But if I'm meeting them for the first time, the first that when they walk through that door, it is key because I need to look at them and also tell them to bring in a suit that they think is a great fit, because everybody's opinion what a great fit is different. And sometimes by the end of that conversation, they say, "Damn, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was bad. I didn't know that."
Right.
So I point some things out to them, but I need to know how they stand. I need to. Are they forward pitch? They have a high hip, low hip. Because see, once I start taking measurements, and once a gentleman, mostly with gentlemen, women not so much, but when gentlemen get in front of a mirror, now they all of a sudden they Marines. And I said, no, I need to see that gut. I need to see that gut. I need to see exactly how you stand, how you're shaped, so we can work to build up your better points and downplay the areas that we want to kind of like mask. So when they come in, we had that conversation. I have two red leather chairs that I like. I have great conversations with gentlemen and ladies too about what their desires are. And then from there, once we kind of choose the fabrics and get an idea of what they're looking for, single breasted, double breasted, to their particular style. So it's easy to fit their physique. The skill is in fitting their personality, helping them to get the suit that works for them. Or we talk about wardrobe constellation. What do they need in their wardrobe? And so once we establish that, we take a complete set of measurements and we set a time frame. And of course, we collect the deposit, which is very, very important.
Right.
Very important.
The pattern and the fabrics, right? And if we do two different things. If we're doing a bench piece that's going to be spread over maybe 8 weeks, and there's going to be 3 or 4 fittings in that. If we're doing a custom piece where I do use a cut, make, and trim shop, but I don't do it in-house. In-house is expensive. For me, to bench make a suit is very expensive. And so we do use a cut, make, and trim house where it's a place who has master tailors in there, and I can send that to them. Sometimes I draft the pattern myself, send that pattern and that fabric to them, and they send that back in different pieces, maybe complete or however I want it to come back. By me being an actual tailor, I can communicate with those tailors there. Somebody that's just getting into the business and just a great salesman and got some swatch books to make a sale, those guys come to me after the suit come back, and I try to correct those areas. Some of them listen. Some of them, I say, why don't you just shadow me and I can show you how to take better measurements. Some listen, some don't. But they come to me to help me. And I feel sorry for the clients because I know they're not getting what they paid for. And but that's the process for Benchmade is 8 weeks, and the custom is about 4 to 5.
Wow.
We don't do made to measure.
Wow.
Made to measure is just a step above off the rack. When you go to Nordstrom's or Men's Warehouse and they give you a made to measure suit, what they're doing before that suit comes, they're making those adjustments and modifications on the suit. So it's just a step above
off the rack.
Wow. Now, this is pretty fascinating. I have a friend who actually customized women intimate apparel from scratch. She does the whole thing, the measurements, all the other great stuff. And she also does outerwear apparel for men and women. So all the minute details that you wouldn't think about, it fascinates me. But I do want to ask you, Mr. Quentin, what would you say is the future of tailored clothing? Is it sky's the limit or possibly a slow decline?
No, absolutely not. I think everything's going to be custom at some point. The technology is coming there. You're going to be able to go online, put your scan your body with your iPhone, and put those measurements in there and order your jeans, so you won't have to come.
Wow.
That is the future. But we got to go back to the beginning. Brooks Brothers took us out of everybody making custom clothing. See, at one point, everybody wore custom clothing because you could not go to the store and purchase a suit. So everybody used custom tailors at that time. Brooks Brothers started the made to measure. I mean, the ready made.
Mm.
And it kind of went from there. So as what we do seems to be going away, we're just as much needed.
Mm.
We're just as much needed because you're going to always have issues and problems. It's apparent when people come with stuff they've ordered online, especially when they've ordered custom clothing online through a particular service, and it doesn't come back right. And where do they go to get it fixed at? They find guys like me or women tailors to make those adjustments. It's just sometimes it's just poor quality, and I feel the client something.
Yeah, he's right about that because I've done that several times. I gotten, I'm not even, but I've had to go. Yeah, I had to do that, man. Like, what the hell? What the hell is this? Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Have you ever had to turn down a customer when they came to you with like, hey, I purchased this, it doesn't fit right. Can you fix it? And like you said, the quality is poor. Have you ever turned the customer down and said, I really can't do anything with this?
I had a client, yes, definitely. And said, send it back, get your money back. And but a client came to me, contacted me, found me, and he had a suit he had made. I'm not sure where, but it was one of the worst jobs I've ever seen for custom. And the stripes didn't match up. It was just bad. And he was in a wedding with us. So it was other guys with the same suit too. He told me they had the same problem. But I did the best I could for him. I got him he was able to get in it. And but he understood fully what the limitations were. So I had a discussion with him. But yeah, I really didn't want to because I knew I couldn't really improve it. He could get in it. Just that way. It's not that it's jacked up.
I got him in. Look here, you can wear it. Ain't gonna be too good.
I want to do a split.
Right. Don't go down that Soul Train line, bro.
There you go.
It'd be easy.
You can always tell the quality of a garment. Look at the buttonholes.
Really?
Look at the buttonholes. Look how well the buttonholes are made.
Wait, so explain that.
Yeah, could you?
Because you can see buttonholes on supposed to be should be a custom garment, and it looked like it was done with a home singer sewing machine.
Oh, actually, now I got to go back. Now I got to go in my closet. I know. You guys got miles. I go in my closet.
So what's the difference? What should it look like then?
I will have to show you, but you can tell a well-made buttonhole, not just by hand, but a buttonhole machine itself, a quality buttonhole machine that's in a professional place is going to cost you somewhere about 10 grand.
Wow, are you serious?
Alone. I will say this here. I wasn't going to say it before, but I am going to be working with a company called Branded Bespoke in Baltimore. They're the ones that's going to help me with the school. I've signed a contract with them to be the head tailor and creative director. Still running my shop, so I'm going to be giving them some time out there. It's a good group. We head in the same direction, and at some point we're going to be doing some bench work out there, and that's henceforth our school. We're going to train up our own people.
Man, look here, ladies and gentlemen, y'all getting this here fresh and first on Two Mics Up. For those of you who are, into fashion and believe that you have skill and talent, well, we got a master craftsman here on this show that's opening up something right here in our backyard in the DMV area. So we want to allow him, if he wants to share, we'll make sure we put whatever information we can here in the notes if you're watching this on YouTube, so that you can reach out to this gentleman. You can get all the information and hopefully take your skills to the next level, like this gentleman did. Because I love hearing that this is coming back. I thought this was really a lost art, a lost craft, and I'm just so glad to hear that you say that this is on the rise and on the comeback. And I'm excited. I'm fascinated, just like Melissa. With everything that you're sharing with us today, man. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Honored to be here.
All right. So taking or changing lanes for just a second. Now, since the pandemic started, we know there's been ups and downs in any business, right? In every business. Have you experienced any change in your business? And if so, then what have you been able to pivot to stay successful?
Oh yeah, most definitely, especially since I had just relocated to the area and right at the pandemic. Yeah, and I had leased the office space where I'm at now. not to be open up a business because I was comfortable working where I was. I wasn't going to do it just at that time, but they shut him down right at the beginning, and I had to turn my office and turn it into a money maker producing office. And so I did like everyone else. I started doing PPE uniforms, masks. I jumped on Thumbtack, had people coming, and so I took in all of those small jobs. You know, it's no shame. You know,
Right.
it's honest. I did whatever. Some jobs I might not have done in regular times, but I did that. You know, I made suits, made whatever I did, whatever I had to do to survive. But you know, then it was starting to come back. Then the new variant came in.
Right.
Weddings planned. I was doing some stuff for the. I had some stuff lined up.
Man,
I just went because everything went virtual.
you're right.
Everything went virtual. But now this past week, a lot more bookings, a lot more calls.
Good.
And I think people are anxious to get out and get dressed up.
Yeah.
You know, and believe me, we're letting out a lot of pants.
Wow.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, you know, 2 years of being in the house, man. Things happen. Things happen.
They're telling me that their clothes were shrinking in the closet. They don't know.
Right.
The washing machine shrunk it all. That's my the washing machine shrunk my clothes.
Yeah, man.
I heard it all.
Oh man, I love
it.
it.
With your school, or with you becoming headmaster and teaching it now, going back to the pandemic question again, and everything being virtual, will you be teaching virtual as well, or are we still doing that in person? Because of course you can't teach skills sometimes virtually.
Right.
Yes. I would prefer hands-on in shop. We're going to have the machines in there. We're going to have everything in there. Hopefully by that time we kind of everything have gotten a little back together somewhat, so, but whatever way we have to do it, I'm just excited about the opportunity to share what I've learned over these past years. As I told you, when I was coming through, it was always a tailor somewhere that was willing to stop and show me, and I was willing to learn. And I don't care how long someone's been sewing. If I meet somebody and she's been sewing for 2 years, I shut up and listen because she done stumbled upon something somewhere. We learn a lot of stuff by making mistakes.
Yeah.
And we make a mistake or something and say, oh, this works better. So, I had a lady, she hadn't been sewing that long, but she showed me a little trick on how to replace a pocket in there. And when I was taking it out and cutting it all out, she said, I ain't got to do that. She took her teeth and bit the fabric and around it, throw it in there. Just like, if I had been on a high horse or something like that, she wouldn't have shared that with me.
Right.
And so I'm big on sharing what I know and what I have. There's another thing is some great tailors in this area from around the world.
Well,
I got a couple of people that I work with that is going to be working with me down there. I'm tying them up now.
That's right. Yeah, I see the smile and I see the passion, man. I love it, and that just makes me want to ask things because that's what I was wondering. So, for those who may not be able to get to you, but they're like, because you did mention it earlier, how you are as a tailor, you like to listen and you like to see. But for those who may be listening who can't get to you, Quentin, what may be some tips that you can share with the listener, maybe when they're going to go see a tailor or when they're talking to their tailor, what some tips maybe we should be sharing with this new tailor when we first arrive?
Well, ask them, are they a tailor or they're a salesman? And there's nothing wrong with that. If they just sell custom made-to-measure clothing, they probably done teamed up with the tailor to do any adjustments. I find that oftentimes that's what I'm saying. That's why we get a lot of people to come in or made-to-measure salesmen that ask us, can we help them fix their clients' garments?
Okay.
Or they send the customer to me. And I'm doing some work right now for a guy that got some suits from a guy in Hong Kong. Suits is in bad shape. The guy in Hong Kong called me, asked me could I help their client, and so I'm taking care of it for him.
Oh.
But yeah, it's things to look at. Look at the shoulders and the collar. If you go into a off the rack store, pay attention to the collar and the shoulder. You know, that it's not hanging off too much, or if you get that indentation in here, biceps is pulling out. You see Shannon Sharp a lot. He's doing it now, his biceps about to pop out of there. They want it tight, but that indentation in there is very unseemly. So it's you pay attention to that. You know, the clothes have changed a lot as far as the quality. You know, as long as you understand that this is a disposable garment, because they use more glue in the collars, which should always be stitched down. Try it on, and you know, you can always shorten the sleeves. You can always take it in. Get something too small, because they don't. That's another area where they save money at. There's nothing in them seams to let out. I get you not. You know, it used to be at least 3 to more inches in a jacket, so you can make an adjustment. You gain 5 pounds, we can let it out. Now it's so cut so quick to the seam. You know, it's about less than an inch in there. I've seen some just bad. I said, you know, you have to get it a little bigger. And also, when you're going and looking at suits, I got in trouble with a salesman one time because he knew it was me sending these customers over there. I told people to grab that sleeve and ball it up, hold it for a couple of seconds, then let it go and see if it bounced back. You don't want to get a suit that as soon as you in it, you get out your car, it's like you don't slept under a bridge. Yeah, it should have some bounce back. That shows a little better quality. Yeah, a little better quality. So check, just grab it. And I did that. I used to send my
telling us some people.
I'm telling you, man.
Walk up into these stores and
right. Because you know, next time I'm out, wait, no, my man Q said no, no.
Yeah, you know, but try it on. See, women is different. Women will search for the perfect garment. If it takes her a year, she's gonna search, and when she gets that garment, it's only gonna need minor adjustments.
Right.
Right.
It's true.
A guy will go in there, and if he can get it around, if that stomach, if he can button it up, hey, I like this.
Right.
He ain't paying no attention to those shoulders,
anything
true. Like that. And sometimes they bring it to me. I said, why don't you go back and go down a size or go up a size? You shouldn't have to pay $250, $300 for alter a suit. You have to remake it. You know, so yeah, pay attention to the shoulders and the collar. Collar should kind of hug your neck a little bit. Because collar work and shoulder work is the most expensive work. So you only want to have the sleeve shortened maybe, or to take in and let out the size, waist and seat on the pants and hem. And it's popular now for people to get their pants tapered. The young people are pushing fashion though. The old heads still trying to dress like the old young people. The young people done moved on to trim, slim suits. 7 inches off the ground.
Not sexy to me.
It's not. No, not to me either. But they are dressing up.
I mean, they are in their way. I mean, to be fair, they are in their way. It's not sexy to me. It's not fashionable to me. But I'll take a start. I'll take a start, because me and High Waters and my bruh.
You know, it is that. But see, they are coming in, and then I can have a conversation with them. And see, because they don't know.
Right.
Think about this here. Just like with my own son, he's 36 now. You know, and I had saved all the suits I made when I was a young man. I fought with my brothers, wanted my suits, and I said, no, I'm saving this for my boy. My boy. When that hip hop came in and the baggy jeans, that's all he wanted to wear. And so now that it's changing, when they come in, these young men don't know where they waist at. So where's your waist? That's the question. It used to be to cuff or not to cuff, right? Right. You want plain bottoms. Now is, you know, where's your waist? You know, and your waist should be somewhere around your belly button.
Not around you. They down around their behind.
They got around it. But that's what they've been doing since they've been born. And so to teach them that, so it's a lesson when young people come in, not forcefully, but they ask questions. I say, you want to wear a suit, but you can't wear them like you wear them jeans. So they have to pull them up. You know, so I get a chance to educate, share information with young men, and when to wear. You got to have some business attire along with them club suits.
Man, I love it, and that's why I'm excited. We came in here, and this is what our platform is all about: educate, empower, and impact. And y'all got an education today. And I hope that those you listening take this here to do something with this knowledge. Do something positive now. Go out there, take this and do something positive with it today's conversation. And I'd be remiss not to ask. I have to ask before we go, as we come to close out the show. What's next for Q? Because we already talked about, you know, your academy
Mhm.
and you giving back and teaching people. But what's really next for Q, the person outside of that?
Mhm.
What can we see you doing next outside of all of these great things you have coming up?
Well, hopefully you'll be following me. I'll be flying somewhere, fitting somebody.
I know you're
Okay.
right.
um, I'm it seems like I've been sewing for a long time now, but it seems like I'm starting to get discovered. I told my brother, I said, I think people are starting to find out that I can sew a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So as it go, even with this company, the brand that Bespoke, we already setting up Hilton overnights because I'm going to be traveling, and I'm going to be doing some things that I have in my design book that I've been waiting to do. Some things I did in my early years, and so I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a line because I believe in classic dressing.
Mm,
So I'm really not creating nothing new. What has
mm,
changed is some great fabrics out here. People understand the fabrics.
mm,
Some of the fabrics are like from $100 to $200. So that's why people say I got a custom suit and it's $600. I can't imagine the quality of that fabric.
mm.
And so when you uh, um, getting something commissioned, the fabric is key. That's what makes the look the difference. So I hopefully to be able to expose some of my designs in my book that I've been saving, I've been wanting to do. And I did a couple over the last, especially during the pandemic, but I have a few more that I want to share. And I think some people that have been contacting me that has more of a world stage,
Hmm.
I can put them in. So I'm hoping to see some of my things on some people that's kind of more out there. Yeah.
Man, look, it's gonna happen from your mouth to God's ears, man. It's gonna happen. We are here, in full support. It's definitely been my honor to have you on, Melissa. Sis, you got anything you want to share or say before we go ahead and close out this amazing conversation?
I am just amazed. Again, I'm amazed and fascinated by this. I was telling Damon earlier that my grandfather was a tailor.
Hmm.
But because I seen it growing up, it was just the norm. He retired about 3 times. He retired, then went back because he don't know how to sit down. Retired again, and customers was calling him like, "Hey, where are you?" He's like, "I'm gone." So it's I didn't realize the detail that goes behind it until I was engaged and he looked at my wedding dress and tailored it. But I was used to, he had a room he set up with his sewing machine and all these garments hanging around. It was the norm for me. So as you get older and you realize the detail and the thing behind the tailoring, you realize, wow, this is a gift. It's a
Yeah,
gift and a talent that everyone
yeah,
does not have, and is much much needed even now in 2022.
yeah.
So thank you, sir.
No,
Mhm.
thank you for
Thank
having
you for sharing your gift and talent with this world, and even teaching the younger
Yeah.
generations. It's not lost.
It's not. It's not.
So, Quentin, before we go, also I want to allow you, please share any of your social media information, your website information, where those who are listening in or watching today can reach out to you, especially DMV. I need y'all to stand up and go
Yes.
ahead out and support, man. Get behind this brother and what he's doing here, right here in our backyard. So make sure you stand up and support.
You can reach us on our website at www.qthetailor.com. We also have a suit building program on there where you can actually go on there and design and build your own suit.
Oh
Choose
wow.
the fabric and put it on a model. Choose the details, pick stitching, the slanted pockets, ticket pockets, whatever. We're on Instagram, all at Q the Tailor, Facebook at Q the Tailor, Facebook at Q the Tailor, or Q the Tailor Bespoke Clothier. So, but we're available. You can reach us anytime at 202 922 0023. And you can schedule an appointment or you can call and talk to me at any time.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it here. So we're gonna make sure for those of you who are watching today on YouTube. We'll make sure we put all that information down in the bio so that you can go ahead and reach out to Q the Tailor and tell your friends and family, man, get out here and support. It's been another amazing conversation. I really appreciate, Q, you taking time out to share your story with us. Melissa, sis, it's been another great ride, and we'll get back together soon. Get you back in the co-pilot seat. Keep me in tune, keep me in order. Love the energy. Yeah, somebody got to try to.
We got to.
Yeah, somebody got to, man.
We need a
Thank you
queen.
for having
Yeah.
me, Dane.
Always, yeah. Definitely got to have a queen. I appreciate you, sis. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do about this time. You can follow Two Mics Up online at www.twomicsup.com. You can go ahead and follow us across our social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Two Mics Up. Hey, and if you're watching this and you haven't done so already, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. Don't forget to click that bell over there to the right so you can be notified of all the latest content coming to you from us here at Two Mics Up. And like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.